rich man's world. I have turned the soul of this beautiful land, but the beauty a rich man's world. I have turned the soul of this beautiful.
Hello, welcome back to the podcast. March Madness is here. The tournament has been unveiled, and we're going to talk about conference champs, March Madness, the whole bracket. We're talking about our favorite upsets and our favorite paths to the title. Welcome to the podcast, Mr. Bragg.
Yeah, I'm excited. A lot of the matchups I was really shocked to see, but I think overall, with like one or two teams being left out, I feel like everyone who got in deserved it for the most part. We'll talk about, some certain people's team who didn't make it, but they did better than my team, so it's okay. And we didn't even get an NIT invite, so.
We are a number one seed in the NIT.
Oh, y'all made the NIT?
Yeah, we're number one seed. Number one overall seed, actually.
I didn't know if y'all would accept that.
Oh yeah, we're still not that great of a basketball school, so yeah,
Okay.
we'll accept that.
Fair enough.
We're not too good for that, like some schools.
I know what Dayton didn't accept one either.
North Carolina didn't accept it because they said they were too good for it. You should prove that in 31 games, idiot. Sorry.
They proved it against Clemson, didn't they?
They did, but that was at North Carolina. If they next year when they come to Clemson, that's a different story.
All right.
But anyway, conference champions. Not my school. We lost to Virginia by 20. Was not a fun night, but because first off, playing Virginia is not fun. It's not fun because they're miserable to watch. It's like watching paint dry, and then when you're down by 5, you feel like you're 20. When you're down by 20, it feels like 100 because they just limit the game. And eventually, I was about to pull my. No, I never turned it off, but I was about to pull my hair out. But I was still confident. I was like, we lost this game, but we should get a bid. I mean, and that's what I'm fixing to talk about. I think we should have got a bid personally. There's 3 teams that I don't agree with getting in, and if these 3 teams or 2 teams don't get in, for them 2 out of the 3 teams don't get in, then I'm perfectly fine with us getting in. I understand that we have horrible losses. That is very clear to me. I've been getting in Twitter wars all day about this. They keep saying, well, you shouldn't have lost to Louisville. Well, you know what? We didn't lose to NC State. We beat them 3 times by 15 at least every time. Dominated NC State. If NC State doesn't get in, I am perfectly fine with us not getting in. But the fact that the head-to-head, nothing on the court matters at all besides losses.
That's what I saw. I saw they weigh out of conference and just like bad losses a lot, which I was like I get it. Like, yeah, loss to Loyola is really bad. Loss to Louisville is really bad. But outside
bad.
of 2 L's, like that blemishes the resume that bad.
And 2 losses in November and December as far as South Carolina and Loyola diminish your chance as good as we played down the stretch. Down the stretch, Clemson was one of the better teams in the ACC. If they don't lose at Louisville, they probably win the ACC. They're probably the 1 seed in the ACC tournament. But South Carolina, your best player, PJ Hall, he is the best player. He's better than Hunter Tyson just because of his role. He played 10 minutes against South Carolina because he tore his ACL and he was coming back from injury. If you have him, you win that game by 10, probably. Loyola, he was minutes restriction. Minutes restriction against Loyola. No excuse to lose to Loyola like that, even with a minutes restriction. I don't care. The losses are there. I understand that. If that's what keeps you out the tournament, fine. But my problem is when you beat a team that took your spot. In reality, North Carolina State took Clemson's spot in the tournament with the same record. Clemson actually had 1 more win, same record. But guess what? What's the common denominator here? If there was only one way for us to decide who's the better team, oh wait, there he is, and it happened 3 times on 3 different courts by 15 and up. I don't get it. And then you put a Nevada team or Pitt team in. Clemson
I
beat
was gonna
at
say
Pitt.
Pitt. I was gonna say Pitt.
They
'Cause I
have
was
more
Pitt.
losses than Clemson, and they lost to Florida State and Notre Dame. That's 2 bad losses. And they're lower in the net. That's your holy net system. They're lower. There was no reason for them to get in. Heck, Oklahoma State should have got in. They're
Well,
40th.
to be fair, does Pitt not play in like the first 4 games?
Yeah,
So
but I would love to be in the
I'm
first
saying
4.
you would love to be in the first 4, but at the same time, they could just be where Clemson is without even making actual. But I see what you're saying, though, to even have a chance.
If Clemson gets in and plays Mississippi State, they probably win that game, and then they're going to give TCU a run for their money, no doubt.
Do
Or
you
I don't
think
know if
Pitt
that's the
wins that
same
game
matchup.
against Mississippi State?
No, I think Mississippi State wins that game. I don't think Pitt's very good. But I mean, at the end of you put a Nevada team in that's 22-10 in the Mountain West. I mean, yeah, you can argue the Mountain West is just as good as the ACC, but it's still the ACC still top heavy, and they were the top 5 probably beat the top 5 of the Mountain West. But Nevada didn't even win a game in their conference tournament. They lost to San Jose State. You give 4 bids to a conference that hasn't won a tournament game in 4 years since Nevada went on their Sweet 16 run. So I mean, it's frustrating, but at the end of the day, now you know what you can't do. You can't lose stupid games, and that's what it's going to boil down to. But I mean, you can't. There's no way to decide on the court anymore. It's all about metrics, and I mean, as bad as that sucks, it happened. We're out. We are the number 1 seed in the NIT. I actually got into a Twitter war with this NC State fan. Would you like to hear about it?
Go ahead.
He actually was.
I wanted to talk about Rutgers too, because I know you don't have the same type of ties to Rutgers. Rutgers is another
Well, I
team.
understand. Yeah.
Rutgers is another team that I feel like should have almost as equally been in as Clemson. Like Rutgers was hot for a lot of the year. They lose one of their starting players. But even still, they have a lot of wins, and they don't have a ton of losses that are like, wow. Like they really, if you actually go back to the schedule, like Rutgers should have equally been in my opinion, over a team like, I think you could argue NC State again. You could argue West Virginia even, because I don't think West Virginia is that great.
19-14 record.
A lot of losses. I mean, Auburn.
Right.
Auburn
Arkansas
had its
got
ups
in.
and
They had
downs.
12 losses.
Arkansas was a team I was surprised to see, even though I wanted to see them, but I was
right.
like, no way with this resume they're going to make it. They made it.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you just have to lose to the right teams, and that's what sucks about it, because 23-10 record.
State.
Oh yeah, I know. Mississippi State doesn't have an outstanding.
They don't have a
great,
not much better than Rutgers, bro. Not much.
I think what killed Rutgers down the stretch is playing so bad in the last month, and that's what I saw on Twitter at least. But they showed the first 4 out, and Clemson, and so the first 4 out were Oklahoma State, and you know who was the second to last out? Take a guess.
Clemson.
North Carolina.
And
North Carolina almost got in.
I was gonna say they shouldn't have even really been considered. Not with the year.
But they're only considered because they're North Carolina. I mean, they were ahead of Clemson, and anyway. But this guy on Twitter, so one of the Clemson accounts I follow, said if only there was a way to determine Clemson was better than NC State and Penn State, and I don't care about Penn State. It's just in the tweet. And some NC State fans said none of them lost to Louisville. I kindly commented back and said none of them beat Clemson. And he said, shame that's not how the committee judges teams. Okay. Don't lose to Louisville, Loyola, South Carolina. I said, reply back when y'all actually beat us. And he said, enjoy watching us in the tourney. I'll take losing to y'all 3 times and making it over you 3 times. Something. Cope for me more. I said, it doesn't matter. You'll join us watching soon.
They will though.
To which he said, can't talk if you didn't make it. Have a good one. I said, see you in the fall football to hand you another L because we own North Carolina State. He said, how about you go one? So this is what the funny part is. How about you go whine how unfair the committee is on your podcast instead? I'm going to mute you and enjoy the tournament. Remember what the letter of the day is. So thanks for the listen, big dog. Because that just runs the analytics up. So
Appreciate it.
thank you for listening to the podcast.
I don't even know you, but on
Sorry,
behalf of me, I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in.
I appreciate the listen. Enjoy the one game you'll be playing in the tournament as you lose to a Big East squad.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a spoiler for my bracket. I do have NC State getting knocked out first round. So just
So Josh, buddy, if you're listening, you'll be joining soon. But,
good luck though.
Yeah, good luck.
Y'all gonna
But
need
this
it.
past weekend, yeah, they are definitely going to need it. Saturday, we had some major conference tournament championships. Arizona pulled off the upset of UCLA in the Pac-12 ship, like we called.
Great
Beautiful
game.
pick.
Great
Did you
game.
watch that? Did you see that buzzer beater or somewhat buzzer beater?
Somewhat. Yeah, I did. It was crazy, bro.
It
I
was
didn't
crazy.
actually
He nailed
expect
it.
Arizona to win, but
Me either.
good for them.
They played great. They were out of. I mean, they weren't like. It wasn't like they led the whole game. Like they were like behind the whole game, and they got going at the end. I'd like to mention there was only 28 points scored by Arizona and 25 by UCLA in the second half. Pitiful second half. But Texas dominated Kansas 76-56. Texas looked really good. This is twice they beat Kansas by 20 in the last week.
Yeah.
So they look good going down the stretch. I know Darren's feeling himself over there about Texas. And they look good, man. They look really good. But you know what scares me about Texas is I look at teams like that as the most prone to upset because they look so good in the last few weeks. Duke too, and that's why I worry about picking them. I do have them going far. Spoiler alert, but they do worry me a little bit.
I mean, with that logic though, like a team that's playing bad, like why would you pick a team why would you not just pick the team who looks better at the moment, you know? Like I
no
guess you
doubt.
can go back to over the years or like over the year, but I'm always gonna go with like the team I think looks better recently and whatever else if they played against each other, whatever metric, you know.
Marquette took down Xavier 65-51. This game was never really close. Marquette dominated it. Marquette looked really good in the Big East. They did struggle against St. John's, obviously, and they struggled against UConn, but they prevailed and then smoked Xavier in the title. Marquette seems to be. I have them going far, but they seem to be a team kind of prone to an upset too, in my opinion. I could definitely see them getting knocked out fast, even though I picked them. Duke,
Yeah.
the Dukies are hot. The Dukies are hot, and they win their first ACC championship under John Shire. Really great story.
Yeah, good
Not
for
really,
them.
because they were talking about their Cinderella story. Well, I mean, when you have five stars on the floor, I mean, it's not really a Cinderella story.
I
You
was
just
gonna
kind of
say
got
it
going
is a Duke. It's just like the way they look
where
the
they
whole
were.
year. Yeah, they look a lot
They
better than
look
where they were at.
They were on the bubble some of the year, but they got going and
Crazy.
really looked good down the stretch. Held Virginia to 17 first half points. A little taste of their own medicine there. And then San Diego State took down Utah State for the championship, the Mountain West Championship. Then moving on to Sunday, we had Memphis and Houston. Memphis derailed Houston. It wound up being by 10, but this game was not 10-point game. This game was 20, 25. I mean, it was Kendrick Davis is him, in case you didn't know.
He is that guy. He is.
He's 31 in that game. He had 19 the game before and then 33 in the game before that. So I mean, playing really well. Well, maybe he had 33 in the game before that. Excuse me. But then we had the SEC championship. Alabama just does what they do best, and they straight up killed Texas A&M. That I did not mean to say that. Honestly, I did not mean to say that.
I just
I really didn't mean to say that. Honestly, Brandon Miller's the tournament MVP. Very well deserved. Good for the kid. Um, because he's been through it as of late. So, um, very good for him. Very good for them.
yeah, good for
19
him.
point victory. SEC champs, first spoiler alert, first overall seed in the tournament. Um, Purdue took down Penn State, and the score you wouldn't be able to tell. It was it was a 10-point game most of the game. It wound up being 60. Sorry, I was receiving a call. Um, Purdue beat Penn State 65, 67-65. Did you see the end of this one?
No, I didn't. But I saw Purdue won. I wasn't able to watch the game. No.
This was a weird game because it wasn't close at all, and then kind of got close in the last few minutes. Penn State started hitting some shots, and they went to hit a game-winning shot, and Buddy went up and then he faked the shot and then stepped up without dribbling, and obviously that is a
Wow.
travel.
Who was
So
it? Pickett?
then, I don't think it was Pickett. I don't remember who it was. Zach
Uh,
Edey dominated that game, obviously. So on to the tournament bracket. Uh, Purdue, or well, we'll start off with the number one overall seed, Alabama. Alabama is the number one. This is probably the first time they've ever been the number one overall seed. I'd be willing to bet on that. That they
were they
are.
not up there last year?
They were up there, but they've never been the number one overall seed.
Oh, number one overall.
Over,
Okay, yeah. Nah, they weren't.
they've probably been a number one seed before, but Alabama will take on the winner of Texas A&M Christi and Southeast Missouri State. Southeastern Missouri State, however they pronounce it. Obviously, not much to talk about there. It's a 1 versus 16. Upsets don't happen there, but once in a lifetime. Maryland and Virginia is the eight. This is the South bracket. They're the 8-9 game. West Virginia. Um, West Virginia 19-14. Maryland a little bit better of a year. They do play in the Big Ten though, so this is an interesting matchup because I feel like the public's going to be on West Virginia, but I could definitely see Maryland winning this game.
Yeah, I feel like this is one of those toss-ups. Like Maryland has their nights, West Virginia plays in a tougher conference, but again, they look shaky from time to time, so they could really go either way. I'm not gonna put too much on either
Yeah,
squad.
the 5 versus the 12 seed in this one is South San Diego State versus College of Charleston. This is probably the most picked upset of the whole bracket. I guarantee you 95% of people will be on Charleston. Um, Everybody, because if they're it's well deserved. They're 34-3 on the season or something crazy, 31-3, something crazy like that. They've had a
31.
great year. Um, so it's well deserved that the public likes them in this game. But San Diego State can surprise some people. Um, Virginia plays Furman, and this is another one that a lot of people will be on because people don't respect Virginia because of no offense, whatever. Furman can score up and down the court. Not a great matchup for Virginia, but if they play defense, Furman's never seen, like we talked about earlier, Furman's never seen a defense like this.
Yeah,
And so that's going to be a fun matchup to watch. Creighton and Sir John's NC State boys take on each other. NC State, most undeserving team in the field, takes on Creighton. I really think Creighton wins this game, but I don't know. It's a toss up to me because I could see NC State getting hot, but then like Creighton just seems like a tournament team. Like they just seem like
I just
they're
think
gonna play
Creighton's
well.
been more consistent throughout the year in I'd argue tougher, or actually, I'm not even. It's not really an argument. I think the
It's
Big
not like
East is a tougher conference, and they've had a
I agree.
equal record in a tougher conference. So I would always go Creighton.
I agree. Baylor takes on California Santa Barbara. 3 versus 14. Not much really to talk about here. This is probably one of the easiest 314 picks. I don't really know much about Santa Barbara. I don't think there's
I
much
looked
to
at
know
I
about
went
them.
over their schedule and they just haven't played anybody. So
I gotcha. Missouri takes on Utah State. This is a very picked upset. Utah State's the 10 seed. I like Missouri here. I feel like they played well in the SEC tournament. Very unsurprising. I thought Tennessee would get them in the SEC tournament, but they look better than I thought. I don't know what I'm gonna do there yet, but Arizona is gonna take on the Smarty Pants from Princeton. Um, Arizona coming off a Pac-12 victory,
I
Pac-12
saw
championship
a
victory.
I saw a stat. Princeton is the I want to say Princeton is the first Ivy League team to win the Ivy League tournament in men's and women's basketball. So
Wow,
they're both going dancing.
impressive.
Good for Princeton.
Good for Princeton. I actually had Yale minus 2.5 yesterday. Did not go well for me,
I thought Yale would
obviously.
have won a tournament, but Princeton is a good team.
So did you know that I'm sorry, I'm off topic here, but the NIT automatic qualifiers for the NIT are regular season champs from those smaller conferences that didn't win their conference tournaments and get in the big
Oh,
dance.
I never
So
knew that.
like
I thought they just picked like random good teams.
no, so like we'll go over it in a little bit, but there was some teams that yeah, there was automatic qualifiers for it.
We
So
don't
I
have to
didn't
go.
know there was like a
I don't care
concept.
about
I
that
didn't know
19.
me either. Oh, was that it? Yeah. Now to the East. This is the number 4 best number 1 seed. Purdue, Big Ten champs, will take on the winner of Texas Southern and Fairleigh Dickinson. Right? Is that the two games
Yep.
or
Hmm.
the two teams in the play in? Um, Texas Southern story. They went 11-20 on the season, but won their conference tournament, so they're going back to the dance for the third straight year.
And Fairleigh Dickinson
Congratulations.
didn't win their tournament, by the way. Didn't win it.
Texas Southern is
Lost.
gonna smoke. Is gonna smoke Fairleigh Dickinson.
I hope so. Well, actually, I don't know why I'm hating on Fairleigh. Like, it's not really their fault, but like
I hate on them.
Texas Southern
I hate on them.
is a March team. I don't know. Like they were here. When were they? Last year? They were in it.
Yes, they've been in the last 3 years.
Yeah. Like they know how to get to March. I don't think
They
they'll
know
do
how
it.
to get to that 1 seed, man. They really know how to get to that 1 seed and lose. But I feel like they should let Merrimack in the NIT. Like, give them a consolation prize, man. They won their conference. At least let them in the NIT. But
At
anyway,
least let them in the CBI with Duquesne.
something. Duquesne made the CBI.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't make the CBI.
We didn't get invited, I guess. Even though Duquesne was worse than us.
Y'all may have not accepted it.
We probably didn't get an invite.
Memphis and Florida Atlantic. This is a weird 8-9 matchup, but I feel like Memphis has just had a tougher schedule. Florida Atlantic really
I'm
hasn't
not
played
gonna.
anybody
Yeah,
yet.
no, I was shocked to see Florida Atlantic at a 9 seed. I thought they would be like an 11, but 9 was
Right.
crazy. But I guess they deserved it. They were ranked for like a good portion of the year.
Yeah, they
So
were. I mean, congrats to them. Good for them. It's going to end though at the hands of Memphis. Duke will take on Oral Roberts, and if Duke wasn't so hot, this would be a prime upset spot because Oral Roberts, them boys can play. There's a reason they're a 12 seed. They should be about. I mean, usually their team would be about a 14 seed. This team can play. They're pretty. They have a 7-5 dude.
they
Donovan Mitchell.
destroyed the tournament too. Their conference.
They did. They did. North Dakota State couldn't hold them. What a matchup it would be to watch the 7-5 guy from Oral Roberts play Zach Edey. That would be fun.
We about to see him against Filipowski. That's going to be a matchup
Yes,
too.
we are. That is going to be a matchup. Tennessee plays Louisiana Lafayette, or Louisiana now, Raging Cajuns. A lot of people are picking this upset, and I don't see how because I don't really think Louisiana's that big. I've seen some people are that good. I've seen some people pick Louisiana on TikTok and Twitter. I don't know
Interesting.
why. I don't know why because I think Tennessee wins this one. I don't think they can beat Duke, but I think they win this one. Kentucky and Providence. Man, they got through on in Murder's Row. Man, they just got hammered by having to
Yeah, they
play
were good.
Kentucky in the first round.
I mean, to be fair, they deserve this though, because of the teams, I feel like Providence is one of the coldest teams going into it. Like Providence hasn't looked
They
very
are.
good, so
I think Kentucky will handle them pretty easily. Oh, Kansas State and Montana State. I don't think there's much to talk about here. Kansas State's the better squad. They are a 3 seed, which I was kind of surprised by. I know they
yeah,
were the
that was
third
high.
best team.
I would
I
have put
felt
them
like
at
that
like
was very
4.
high. I thought they were a 4 or 5 seed. I feel like Duke kind of got a little lower of seed than I expected. I thought they worked their way up to a 3 or 4. I would rather them be a 3 than Kansas State. I think they're better to me. Uh, and that's
I
not
think you
being
can
biased.
say
I
that
really
off
think
being recent, like recency bias, but like over the year, definitely Kansas State was, the better
very
team.
true. Right.
But
Michigan State and USC, 7 and 10 matchup. Michigan State has had a weird season. Like they don't feel like they've been there. Like they don't feel like they've done anything, but they've had a good enough season to earn a 7th spot. So not a bad season for Coach Izzo. USC kind of a surprise too. I don't think really anybody expected them not to not be in the tournament to have a decent season. I feel like USC basketball is kind of a I don't know non-existent. But I don't mean that in a bad way. I just feel I guess because they play on the West Coast and they're not UCLA and Arizona.
yeah,
Marquette and Vermont. Darren, yeah, go ahead and give us your take on Marquette and Vermont.
um, Marquette is not. I would predict this to be like maybe a 10-point win for Marquette. Like Marquette is not about to run through Vermont, and I know that sounds crazy, but I don't really like Marquette as a team. I mean, if Vermont had played some people throughout the year and made it close, like I'd consider picking it, but not quite.
Right. On to the Midwest. Houston is the sec. Well, I want to talk about this for a second. Houston actually was the second overall squad. Um, Kansas was not. Kansas was the third overall 1 seed. Weird kind of thing there. I feel like that was kind of because Kansas kind of got screwed over because of location. Now they have to go out west, and I feel like Kansas is better than Houston because I mean they're 17-7 in quad one. I mean, my goodness, what haven't they done? But and Houston's had a good year. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they're very very talented, and but it don't matter in the long run of things. But Houston take on Northern Kentucky, back to back tournament appearances for Northern Kentucky. Iowa, the 8 seeds, taking on the 9 seed Auburn. Um, Auburn, one of the teams we don't know was very deserving of a spot, but they got in as a 9 seed, which seemed a little high to me. I feel like if they got in, they would have been like. I feel
Even
like
Iowa,
Mississippi
bro.
State,
I feel like Iowa was
Iowa
high.
too,
Like they weren't
Iowa too.
great throughout the year. So I don't know. I don't know.
Miami taking on my favorite team in the country, Drake. The Bulldogs are a wagon. Do they remain a wagon against Miami? Listen tomorrow to find out what we think. Um,
Yeah.
Indiana and Kent State. This is a prime upset spot. Nobody's really. It's kind of laying low. Most of the time these big upsets lay low. Kent State is a tough squad. They can shoot it. They're top 50 defensively in the Ken Palm rankings. Um, they got 2 senior guards that can go get it. And
I'm gonna
um,
say it, bro. Hold up. No offense to Kent State. They definitely, they worked their way here. Bro. Toledo should have been in. I don't care.
he's mad.
I
He's
know
mad.
I know we never had 2 MAC teams in before. But bro, Toledo had too good of a regular season to not be
And
in my
that's
opinion.
why, bro. They're the regular season champs. They get the number 2 seed in
I don't
the.
care about
Actually,
that,
they got a
bro.
7 seed in the NIT. No offense.
Like, hold on, I gotta quickly look at this. You can continue. I'll get back to it.
Toledo fan is doing his research. Indiana, Trace Jackson Davis. Is that his name? Yeah, that's his name. He's looking to lead Indiana
Oh,
on a
actually,
long
never
run.
mind. No, never mind. Toledo lost to UMKC, who was 11-21, and they
Yeah,
also
that
lost to
will
East
get you put out.
Carolina, who was not good either, and they
Yeah,
lost to us, who we weren't good either. So
they should not be in. Iowa State
whatever.
takes on the winner of Mississippi State and Pitt. This is the one I meant to say. If Clemson gets to a spot, they'd probably go to the round of 32, in my opinion. But they did not. So Iowa State's going to dominate either of these teams, honestly. Honest to
Yeah,
goodness. Neither of these teams will put a fight against Iowa State. Uh,
I think Mississippi State actually could on the right night, not
on
Iowa
the right
or
night,
not Pitt, not Pitt ever, but
no.
because Iowa State has their moments where they look kind of not great, but they've been decent as of late. So
Right. Xavier, Kennesaw State, one of our local teams, or my local team, sort of, is one of the only ones in the tournament near me. Good for them. Kennesaw won their tournament. Darren thought Liberty should have, um, or would have, but they did not, and they get a vulnerable Xavier in the first round. I mean, if there's a lower than
are
a
they really
13
vulnerable
seed,
though?
I think they are. I mean, no offense, but I think I could see this being the lowest seed to get a win. And not because I think Kennesaw State's very talented offensively. Um and I think they can win this game. I'm not going to pick them, but if there had to be a 14 or lower seed to win a game, it would be Kennesaw State.
You would
But
pick Kennesaw State over. Oh wait, I thought Furman was a 14. Never mind.
no,
Never
no,
mind.
no, no. Texas A&M, 7 seed playing the 10 seed Penn State. Um felt like that Penn State, if they would have finished that off against Purdue, I feel like they would have been a 7 seed here. I think they would have jumped three seeds, 3 whole seeds for a Big Ten title. But they did not, so they got a 10 seed. I feel like they're a little bit. They should have been a 9, maybe. Maybe took Florida Atlantic spot, and let Florida Atlantic be a 10. But that is not my decision, obviously. Um, I feel like this is a weird matchup. Like, when would you ever think that Texas A&M and Penn State would be playing like that? They just don't. That
It is a
don't
weird
seem like.
matchup, but I think it'll be one of the best games in the first round.
Mhm. I agree. I agree. I hate Wade Taylor. Um, he's one of my least favorite players since yesterday. Uh,
Oh, he
because
must.
he bec- because he had two points in the first half, and then he wants to go on this crazy scoring run for 11 points in the last 2 minutes and sell me 4 points short of a cash. Dude, it was a bad weekend. It was a bad
I'm
weekend.
already
We'll
knowing.
talk about that in a minute. I'll talk about that in a weekend or in a minute. I got hooked like 4 times in the last 4 entries. But um Texas, Darren's favorite team, is taking on Colgate. The boys from Colgate, they're tough. Texas is not very vulnerable though. I don't see them losing that game. Kansas taking on Howard. This is the West region, I believe. Didn't I say that? Yeah, West
Could
region.
be. Yeah,
Kansas taking on Howard. This one won't be close. Howard
I'm
can
happy for
milk you.
Howard though.
I am
Howard is
30 years, 30 plus years.
and Howard is
Good
not too far from me. They're in DC, so it kind of feels like of all the like they're really the team in that's most like closest to us outside. I mean, VCU is like 2 hours away. Howard's only like an hour and a half. So obviously they're not going to win, but it's just cool to see that they made it.
Yeah, I agree. Arkansas 8 seed. See, this is my thing. Arkansas got an 8 seed, an 8 seed.
Yeah, that
Like
is crazy.
Mississippi
'Cause
State's an
Arkansas,
11 seed.
no. Arkansas has really bad losses. What did we say? LSU.
LSU. We were
Who-
talking about it the other night, and
we went over this.
and
We
you
didn't even think they
text
were going to
me,
make it.
and Right. You said LSU lost. You said, "Yep, you're not getting in now." But apparently, we just
It
have different
was.
metrics for everyone.
Let me see. So yeah, off conference schedule, Arkansas had the 10th best record, right?
Yes.
Losses to Vanderbilt, not an attorney.
Yeah. Snubbed,
LSU,
maybe.
not an attorney. But really, no. To be honest, outside of those, they don't have any. Like, I'll read off their other losses. Not one of these is very bad. Besides, I think they have a loss to Mississippi State. Yeah, they do. That's like the only other one. But again, they're a tournament team. Lost to Kentucky, not
Apparently.
bad. Tennessee, Alabama, Texas A&M, Mississippi State, Baylor, Missouri, Vanderbilt, Alabama again, Auburn, LSU, and then Creighton. Like it's really
It's
not. It's
not.
not as bad as we're making it out to be.
No, it's not. But here's my. This is the problem, though. Clemson's downfall was their losses with not enough wins, good wins to overcome that. Who's Arkansas's good win?
Kentucky, A&M,
Is Kentucky a great win? They're a 6 seed. They were a 3 seed in the SEC. They're a 6 seed in the tournament. I don't know that they're a great win. I think they're a
Missouri,
win.
San Diego State. Outside of that, it's really nothing. So what, like four?
But they don't have that upset loss against Alabama. They don't have that win over. Well, did they beat A&M? Didn't they?
They did.
Or they did? They did.
They did.
Well,
They
my
beat.
problem is A&M got a 7 seed, and they were the 2 seed SEC, and Arkansas was the 10 seed in the SEC and got an 8 seed.
I think they're
It's
just
just-
They're overrating the SEC a bit.
They must be, but I don't know. It's a weird situation. But anyway, enough on that. They'll play Illinois, a 9 seed, who I don't really see competing very well against Arkansas. I actually have Arkansas moving on. I don't know how I feel about Illinois as a whole. Illinois gets a 9 seed. Penn State gets a 10 seed. Illinois lost 3 times to Penn State, but head to head doesn't matter. So St. Mary's takes on VCU. VCU, the boys from the A10. Darren will be pulling hard for VCU. I will be too.
Crazy that I am. I hate VCU, but I want them to win.
I've always liked VCU. I know that hurts your feelings, but I always have growing. They were always like a good Cinderella team. But
Whoever
St.
comes out of
Mary's very
is going to be a good Cinderella team every year, just because it's like a good competitive non-power five. Same with the
I
Mountain
agree
West
there.
though.
Oh, no doubt.
Whoever makes it is going to be like, but now they have four, so it doesn't really hit the same. Like we only
Right.
get one, which I think you could argue Dayton. Dayton could have made it, even though they have a few losses that you're like to us. But anyways, go ahead.
4C UConn takes on Iona. Iona, look out for the Gales. They can get hot. They could pull this upset off. They're not going to this year though. They will be sent home packing after their first round. TCU takes on the winner of Arizona State and Nevada. So Arizona State. I hope Arizona State beats Nevada by 100.
I think it'll go.
Just-
It should be Arizona State, but
We'll see. It ain't gonna matter because neither of them putting up a fight against TCU. Really, in my opinion. In my opinion.
nah, TCU looks pretty good right now. I'd go with them.
Gonzaga versus the Grand Canyon. 3 versus 14. Gonzaga kind of got snubbed of a 2 seed, I think.
Nah, they look.
I would argue them over Marquette, but
I can't. Just off wins losses, I can't make
True.
that argument. But I would like to see Gonzaga go far.
Northwestern takes on Boise, another Mountain West team. 10-7 game. I feel like Boise can be a Cinderella story. I feel like they may can win 2 games in the tournament. Spoiler alert. I'm not picking it, but I do think that could happen. Northwestern, I just don't feel like Northwestern's very good, man. I think they're very overrated.
They're
Very,
tailing
very
off
overrated.
super bad right now. which
Right.
I think there was a stretch of time where they were the best team in the Big Ten to me. I think there was
Over at Purdue.
a couple, yes, like for a couple weeks, and like maybe it was even February, like the early part of February, but they're tailing off really bad, so I can't really trust them.
Um, UCLA and North Carolina Asheville. This is probably the most likely. Well, you could argue Vermont and Marquette, but this may be the most likely upset. Um, they Asheville's good, man. They're pretty good to be 15 seed, but I could obviously see UCLA handling this game, but that's all. That's all the picks or all the teams that made the tournament. 64 team. Well, it's technically 68. First four begins tomorrow night. Um,
Mhm.
who's your favorite upsets? We need to go over our favorite upsets in the whole tournament. We've touched base
Just
on it.
any lower team to beat a higher seed?
Right, 8,
Who
9,
do I like the
15,
most?
2, 16, 1.
I think, well, to just win a game, to just win a game, excuse me, I would probably say Boise State over Northwestern is my favorite just to win a game. But to win multiple, I would go Drake over Miami and Drake over Indiana as well.
I think my favorite is Drake. I do have them picking. I have picked them right now. Everybody's gonna say Charleston. I just don't see it. Um,
I don't either.
but I think my favorite. I like VCU over St. Mary's,
Hmm.
but I think my favorite, and I don't have it picked right now, and I've already talked about it. Kent State over Indiana. I really, really like that matchup for Kent State. I love that matchup. I feel like Kent State's too low, man. They're not a 13 seed. I would argue that they're
To
better
come
than
out of the
VCU.
MAC, to come out of the MAC in itself is pretty good.
Well, I think they're better than VCU. And no offense to the ATN, I just think Kent State's older, more experienced. I think they're a better squad.
I don't think
But
I can't back that. I think VCU would handle Kent State.
fair enough. But I mean, they're probably better than the Oral Roberts. Anyway, um, Kent State's very talented. I think this could be a intense matchup from start to finish. Indiana's gonna have to bring their A game if they want to win this one. Um,
Yeah.
but I could see it going either way. So I guess we'll talk about our tournament challenge. We are doing a tournament challenge on ESPN. I'll go ahead and do this in a minute, or right now, and then I'll mention again at the end. Posted a TikTok this morning um, about it. All you have to do is go on ESPN, look up Out of Bounds podcast, and there's a group. You join it, make your bracket. Winner gets a cash prize. Cash prize will be decided by the number of people in the group or followers gained off of this. Um, so join the
Get your
and good
friends.
luck.
Send it to your
Get your
mom,
friend.
dad, auntie,
Right.
cousins.
Anybody can win. Anybody can win the cash prize. I mean, somebody could put in a stupid bracket winner. Everybody gets one entry. It is limited to one entry, so put your best entry in. Just makes it easier with not having 15 brackets from one person, and you know how that goes. But so the first one will get the winner. The first overall guy will get the money. So so good luck. I hope there's lots of people that join it. There may not be. That's okay too. But it'll be
That
fun.
means I,
I just think it'll be
if we
fun.
don't have a lot of
But
people, I'm getting the money, right?
yeah, well, I'm with you there.
But
Um,
we'll see.
but but It would be a fun tournament. It would be a fun tournament. Picks lock Thursday at 12 o'clock, I believe.
12,
Um,
15. But yeah,
12:15. Yeah.
same thing.
Um, Thursday's gonna be fun. We will have a podcast. Thursday, I guess, in the middle of the games, we'll kind of probably. We may. Oh, well, it's spring break. We may go before. Just we may preview the games before that day
Yeah.
because we'll have the time. Um, Anything else you want to talk about? NFL free agency is going on right now.
I was
MLB.
gonna I was gonna
Go
put
ahead.
that
Go
on
ahead.
for. Mm, I was gonna think we do that like Thursday because I was also thinking, or I can tell you that off. I'll tell you that off,
Okay.
Ken.
Yeah, we'll talk about that all. But I would like to say Trevor Bauer did sign with the MPB league. So no
With
major
who?
leagues for Trevor Bauer. In Japan, the MPB league, whatever
Oh,
it is.
really?
Yeah. So no major
Wow,
league baseball for Trevor Bauer this year.
that's
Um,
awful, bro. I feel bad for him.
I do too. I mean, I
They
thought
got bro out the league.
they did. That's what they were trying to do. And it's I know the situation. Anybody can have their side on it, but the girl came out and said that it was all consentful. So I don't really get why he was given the suspension he was given in the first place.
Well, because Trevor Bauer was one of those guys. Even on his
MLB
videos,
hated.
he didn't like how the MLB ran things. Back to the Yerman Mercedes incident, he was one of the people who like talked out and was like, this is weak, and he didn't like it. So
And the
I
MLB
think
didn't like him.
no,
So
they did. Dang, that's so.
and that was the main problem because he called them out on their BS. I mean, that's what it boils down to. And no, I'm not no advocate for Trevor Bauer, but I think he deserves a home. And when you give him a 2 year suspension, that's crazy, man. Nobody deserves 2 years. You don't give suspensions for player enhancing drugs,
Yeah, like
then
what he did was
nobody.
no worse, especially since she came out and was like, it was cool. Like I let it happen.
Right.
Like what? Obviously,
I know.
if it was the other way around, you probably ban bro out the league for even a longer period because why are you doing that? If you
Right.
get banned from the league at that point, that's on you because you're doing
Right.
stuff that can get you arrested. So
Right. And in reality, it's just it sucks for him. But I really think just teams didn't just pick him up because of how it looked on him. But I mean, there's probably, and this sounds terrible to say, but there's probably 100 guys in the major leagues doing the same kind of stuff. They just that the girl ain't come out. So I
I
mean,
believe it.
so I mean, it sucks for Trevor Bauer. The MLB was after him anyway. They're after him already. So he just got what they wanted him to get. And in reality, that's just sucks. But moving on, um, NCAA tournament this week. I'm excited, even though I'm a little very upset. I am excited still. It was very tough last night. Like I sat there and waited all day on the bracket show, watched Purdue, bro. I sat there and they start unveiling it, and I see NC State the first 11 seed, and I'm like,
Mm.
at first I'm like, they're an 11 seed. They're not the final four or the first four. So I'm like, okay, there's a good shot if they're the 11 solidified 11 seed, because I was thinking they're a first four in team. They're
Yeah,
not, so I'm thinking, okay, maybe we have a spot. Then we go through and we get Pitt and Mississippi State, and I say, oh goodness. Well, I was like, well, there's still one more. There's still one more 11 seed and one more first four in game of 11 seeds, and I was like, well, Pitt got that one, so maybe we'll get the other one. Maybe they're favoring the ACC. Um, Go in the 11th seed, someone I can't think of who it is, and then we get to the last playing game, and they announce Arizona State and Nevada, and boy, my heart dropped. I was just like, wow, we really didn't like, because I knew they had said we wasn't gonna get in, but like I didn't believe it because I was like, there's just too much. go like pointing their way for them not to get in. Like I think they're one of the best 64 best teams in the country. And man, when they said that, I was just like, dang, I don't even want to do nothing. I started making my bracket. I was all sad. Then I was like, let me close the match, but I'm not gonna make the bracket right now. I'm gonna get over myself and then make the bracket. So anyway, it was a tough night for me. Um, I'm glad that I know nobody cares about the NIT. I don't care about the NIT, but I'm glad those guys got a chance to play some postseason basketball. Just because we are young. I mean, we're young. Our guys need some postseason experience. So, um, I'm looking forward to next season. Um, I'm ready to be hurt again, of course, as always. Um, but George Mason may be pretty good next year. I'm hoping. I'm hoping both of our squads can win a conference tournament or get in. Um, but we got lots of exciting things coming to the podcast, and I think that's what I should talk about now. Um, we are now on Apple Podcasts. If you don't know, go follow. Um, It is just out of bounds with Justin Gray and Darren Bragg. It's our same logo as YouTube, same logo as Spotify, same logo as all the streaming platforms out there. You can find our last 7 or 8 episodes on there now, 6 or 7 maybe. All about NCAA basketball. All week this week, we're going to be giving you what to know or how to fill out your bracket, what to know going into filling out your bracket, what to know watching the games, what to know to bet on, what to know every little detail. We're gonna be it's our spring break. We're both in college. It's our spring break. We're gonna be breaking down every little thing, and we have all the time in the world this week. So let us know in the comments what you want to see, what you would be interested to see. Um, Thinking about getting a new logo, or a new logo is in the works. Some graphic designs for like segments of the show, posting them the day of on Instagram and Twitter. I would like let me know if you would be interested in that, just so you would kind of know what the show's going to be. We are live. Probably going to start going live for these just because it's easier to keep to just record and have it go up on YouTube immediately and not have to worry about technical difficulties. I don't know where Darren is right now, but I'm going to keep talking until he gets back. But we're excited for the future of the podcast. We know that it is not big right now. It's not. It's not a major podcast, but our previous podcast with a special guest got 45 to 50 views already. So that's exciting. But if you're gonna follow the podcast, man, tell your parents, tell your brothers, tell your sister, tell your cousin to go. Just follow. Just give it a follow. You don't have to turn on the notifications. You don't have to. You don't have to do none of that. Just give us a follow and let it sit there. I mean, it's not gonna harm you. It's not gonna harm anyone. A follow is a follow. Get us up to 100 followers, and we can start expanding and get better content out here. Um, and improving the quality of the audio, the quality of the video, um, and just making it better overall. So I'm excited where things are heading. I know Darren is, and we just love sports. We love to talk about sports. We love every sport. We love all the way down to tennis, soccer, yada yada yada. We love it all. So anything you want us to talk about, anything you want us to go over, just mention it in the comments, and we'll go over it. Obviously, the next few weeks will be NCAA basketball. We do need to start doing some MLB because it is MLB prediction time because T minus 17 days before they start. So I'm excited for that. I will be going to the Braves home opener. You know, I'm a big Braves fan. I'll be there for that. May get a day in the life for that on YouTube or on TikTok. So go give the TikTok a follow. It really needs it. Like I said, join the tournament challenge. It's free money. If you win, it's free money. Entering in is not going to hurt you at all. It doesn't cost you anything to enter in, so it's not going to hurt you at all to enter. Enter in, try to win the prize. It's going to be a very worthy prize. It's not just going to be $5, $1. It's going to be a worthy prize as long as we have a good amount of people in there. So thank you for listening to the podcast, and we'll be back tomorrow. live. And we will give tomorrow is a big episode because we will be giving our tournament predictions. Obviously, they are subject to change with how the first four goes. If one wins, one unexpectedly wins, but um, it'll be an exciting episode. So join us back here tomorrow around 2 p.m. Eastern time, and that's all I got. Darren is obviously gone, so I know he wishes his farewell, and he is excited about the week ahead. So have a good day. Come back tomorrow, or you're gonna get beat up.